By the early 1990s, there was a real boom in large SUVs. Honda engineers were tasked with conquering the new market for large vehicles. Otherwise, why would the Japanese, people of short stature and delicate build, create such tall, massive vehicles like Honda SUVs? Japanese manufacturers entered fierce competition with European and American firms, offering excellently equipped cars at very affordable prices. However, these cars became famous not for their size, but for their quality assembly, good off-road capability, reliability in operation, and interior comfort. In this video, you will learn how Honda's first self-developed crossover revolutionized the urban crossover class, another successful model of an all-wheel drive vehicle, a risky step for Honda, a crossover for the domestic Japanese market, a new goal for engineers, the development of the best 7-seater minivan, a sports roadster from Honda that made history, a front-wheel drive hybrid, the era of robotics, the Asimo robot, the famous Android from Honda, the largest SUV in the brand's history, higher and higher, Honda's first airplane, and how Honda plans to capture the electric vehicle market. You can subscribe and like this channel to lift our spirits. Thank you. Let's continue. The first generation Honda CR-V was released in 1995 for the Japanese, European, and American markets. It was Honda's first self-developed crossover. Its appearance revolutionized the urban crossover class. In the first half of the 1990s, Honda's Research Institute decided to develop a versatile vehicle for both city and off-road use. This project became the first generation Honda CR-V. The engineers were tasked with creating a truly versatile vehicle. It had to be suitable for the city, well-equipped, economical, comfortable, and at the same time easily handle off-road conditions. The designers excelled at this task. The Honda CR-V was not the first urban SUV. The pioneer was the Toyota RAV4, and it is said that Honda's engineers took Toyota's shortcomings into account. Some say the CR-V was developed earlier, but in any case, Honda's crossover revolutionized the class and became a benchmark model for many years to come. First and foremost, the CR-V became a bestseller due to its versatility. It drives perfectly in the city, and parking is easy without noticing curbs thanks to its high ground clearance. Its appearance is invaluable. The heavy parts of the side doors protect against branches and scratches. The exterior of the Honda CR-V turned out to be pleasant, and the car still looks relevant today. But what people loved about Honda's crossover was its interior, specifically its functionality and convenience. The second row of seats folds both inward and outward. The latter option is perfect for overnight stays. There is no partition between the first and second rows, allowing free movement between them. The abundance of glove compartments is impressive. They are everywhere, even in the rear door. There is a folding table between the driver and the passenger. Under the front passenger seat, there is a sliding drawer. The trunk is just as functional as the interior, featuring a folding table. The first generation Honda CR-V was equipped exclusively with the B20B engine. This reliable unit has a power output of 130 horsepower and 192 newton meters of torque. The B20B is structurally similar to the legendary B16B engine, but the B20B never received the VTEC variable valve timing system. The first generation Honda CR-V was produced with both all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive is on demand, meaning that by default, the Honda is front-wheel drive. However, if the front wheels struggle with the road surface and start to slip, the rear wheels engage within fractions of a second. The chassis proved to be reliable, with cases where the manufacturer's specified lifespan was exceeded many times over. In conclusion, it can be confidently said that even 20 years later, the first generation Honda CR-V remains a reliable, comfortable, and functional vehicle for the active driver. The second generation CR-V, which debuted in 2001, increased in size and became heavier. The suspension schemes were changed. In addition to the previous 2.0-liter engine, the car received a new 2.4-liter engine with 160 horsepower. These cars were equipped only with automatic transmissions and were sold in Japan and America. Specifically for the European market, a turbo diesel version of the crossover was prepared in 2005, equipped with a 2.2-liter engine producing 140 340 horsepower. In Asia, this Honda CR-V was available with a 2-liter engine and either a manual or automatic transmission. The Honda CR-V has never been positioned as an off-road vehicle. It has always been a passenger car with increased cross-country capability, a light cross-country vehicle. When the third generation was released, the head of Honda's European division stated that the focus in developing the CR-V was on urban driving qualities. We taught the crossover to handle like a sedan or hatchback. Usually, when releasing crossovers, marketers try to convince buyers of their off-road capabilities. But Honda took a different path. Indeed, the third generation CR-V handles like a sedan, and not just any sedan, but a high-quality one. The Honda CR-V3 cannot be called a light or dynamic car, but it has a certain composure and zest in handling, and its ride smoothness is something many automakers could envy. Externally, the Honda CR-V looks more like a city car rather than an SUV. The third generation urban crossover acquired an elegant appearance. Looking at the CR-V, you don't even want to get it dirty off-road. The spare wheel on the rear door disappeared, and it now opens upwards instead of sideways. In short, owning a Honda CR-V has become not only convenient and practical, but also prestigious. The interior of the third generation is one of the best in its class. Expensive, pleasant to the touch materials, functionality, and a nice dashboard design make the driver and passengers feel comfortable. Honestly, the Honda CR-V with a 2.0-liter engine does not impress with its dynamics. In a word, a car for retirees. With the 2.4 engine, it's already more fun. For the European market, the crossovers were equipped with a 2.2-liter turbo diesel engine producing 140 horsepower and 340 nanometers of torque. The engine is no worse than its gasoline naturally aspirated counterparts. In the first quarter of 2017, the fourth generation Honda CR-V became the best-selling SUV in the world, with 214,000 units sold. From the outside, the car retained all the features of a small crossover from the previous generation. The fog lights became larger and were equipped with wide mesh rims. This innovation was introduced to cool the brake discs. The main headlights have a slight squint. The bumper changed significantly. It was raised and made more sculpted. The crossover became easier to overcome obstacles thanks to a blunter front overhang angle. The manufacturers took into account the criticism of the previous generation and expanded the black plastic trim. This protects the front bumper from obstacles encountered on the roads. The body of this model Honda CR-V is more rigid in bending and torsion. Considering all the characteristics of the crossover, it cannot be called an off-road vehicle, as the ground clearance was reduced in favor of handling. For the 2.0-liter version, it now stands at 170 mm, and for the 2.4-liter model, it is 180 mm. The Honda CR-V4 is an excellent family car. It can accommodate the whole family. The driver won't get tired because it has everything to ensure a comfortable and stress-free ride. Even if you encounter a small bump, the suspension will handle it perfectly. You can travel at night without worry, as the powerful headlights illuminate everything as if it were daytime. The Honda HR-V is a Japanese crossover produced by Honda since 1998. The first generation was available in 3- and 5-door versions with front wheel and all-wheel drive. Production of the first generation ceased in 2006. The Honda HR-V was introduced in 1998 as a light, high-passability wagon and was initially produced in a 3-door body with front-wheel drive as trial models. After its release, it became clear that the model was popular, and the company's management decided to make the Honda HR-V a global model. From 1999, modifications with all-wheel drive and a 5-door body appeared. Externally, the model looks like a tall wagon with a touch of sporty style. The interior balances sportiness and practicality. A comfortable sporty seating position harmonizes with numerous glove compartments, pockets, and nets, which is typical for family cars. Sitting behind the driver's seat, you sit high and get an excellent view of the road, but at the same time, the seat is comfortable and does not feel like a stool, as in many crossovers. The Honda HR-V's trunk is family-sized, 285 liters. If you fold the rear seats, you get 3 times more space. The Honda HR-V is equipped with a reliable D16 engine with a displacement of 1.6 liters, producing 105 horsepower and 135 Newton meters of torque. This is in the base configuration. The Honda engine loves high revs. To drive fast, you need to keep the revs near the red zone. The engines are paired with a 5-speed manual transmission and a continuously variable transmission, CVT. The CVT has 2 driving modes, forward movement, D and L. Thanks to the CVT, the Honda can start dynamically and drive smoothly on mountain roads, always maintaining torque always. The Honda HR-V has front wheel and all-wheel drive, 4WD. Here, as in many Honda cars, the DPS system with 2 pumps is implemented. The Honda HR-V was produced from 1998 to 2006. The model was popular worldwide. After its retirement, the company released a similar urban crossover, the Honda Crossroad, but unfortunately it was not popular and was only available for the Japanese market. The compact crossover Honda Crossroad was a risky move for Honda, as manufacturers usually produce minivans and microbuses for the Japanese market. Other models are sold in Japan but are tailored for the global market, and suddenly Honda introduces a 7-seater crossover, 4.3 meters long and less than 3 meters wide, aimed at Japan. The Crossroad is designed for young people who have already started a family. It looks like a classic crossover, angular body shapes, a predatory look, and at the same time, 7 seats in the cabin make the Crossroad a versatile means of transportation. Sitting in the Honda Crossroad is comfortable, except for the 3rd row, which is more suitable for children or women. What did you expect with a length of 4.3 meters? The floor is maximally low given the modest dimensions. It is equipped with engines. The base unit is the R18A with a volume of 1.8 liters, producing 140 horsepower and 174 Newton meters of torque. In 1995, Honda released a car that was unlike a sedan, minivan, or station wagon, the Honda Odyssey. The engineer's goal was to build a practical family car that handles well. The designers succeeded. They took the Accord base and made a 7-seater car that became a bestseller in the Japanese market. At the start of sales, the Japanese planned to sell 4,000 units per month, but they had to urgently change their sales plan as the Honda Odyssey sold like hotcakes in a school cafeteria. After conquering the Japanese market, the Honda Odyssey went on to conquer North America. In the USA, the model also became a bestseller and still ranks high in various car ratings. In Europe, the model was sold under the name Shuttle, but it wasn't very popular. Europeans always prefer smaller cars. For the European market, Honda introduced a model called the Honda Stream. It was smaller in size compared to the Odyssey. The Honda Odyssey has a low center of gravity and a low floor for comfortable passenger seating and convenient loading and unloading in the luggage compartment. When the Honda Odyssey was released, to minimize costs, the model was equipped with a single 4-cylinder engine with a volume of 2.2 liters, index F22B, with a power of 145 horsepower and 150 horsepower. After the start of sales, it became clear that the model was in demand and it was worth expanding the engine lineup. The Honda Odyssey might not have come to market at all if it weren't for the chief engineer who convinced the company's management to start producing the minivan. In 1995, the Honda Stepwing minivan was introduced at the Tokyo Motor Show. Honda consciously aimed to build a family car. The concept of the car is functionality, performance, and reliability. The Stepwing can accommodate both 5 and 8 passengers. The low floor and high roof made the car comfortable and spacious. At that time, Japanese cars of this class had engines under the driver's seat, but Honda started installing the engine in a conventional layout, which helped reduce the price. To reduce costs, only one engine and transmission option was offered, the ultra-reliable 2.0-liter B20B. It was complemented by a 4-speed automatic transmission. The Stepwing's chassis is quite interesting. It features a McPherson strut in the front and a multi-link suspension in the rear. In subsequent years, many Honda vehicles had the same design. The Honda Stepwing was successful in the Japanese market, and improvement measures were not long in coming. A year later, the standard equipment included an ABS system and 2 airbags. Many other useful features were also added. The The Honda S2000 is an absolute pleasure to drive. This was the official slogan of the model. There is probably no more accurate slogan in the automotive world that so precisely reflects the character of the car. The concept was first shown in 1995, and 4 years later, on the company's 50th anniversary, the world saw the result of the efforts of Honda's best engineers. The world saw the Honda S2000. The two-seater convertible looks sporty and graceful. A long hood, wide wheel arches, and a power-operated convertible roof give the Honda an aggressive look and command respect in traffic. No effort or expense was spared on the anniversary car. The best was installed on the sports Roadster. The naturally aspirated 2.0-liter engine has 240 horsepower in the European version, while the Japanese modification delivers a full 250 horsepower. The Japanese extracted 125 horsepower per liter of displacement, and the engine made it into the Guinness Book of Records. Extensive work was done on the body and chassis, making the Honda S2000 a truly unique car. The rigidity of the body for a convertible is impressive. It is based on an X-shaped frame. The engine and transmission are positioned low to lower the center of gravity and reduce body roll in corners. The interior is designed in a sporty style. There is nothing superfluous, just a few buttons, and all attention is focused on the driver. The trunk has only 5 cubic feet of space, but who cares? If you want more storage space, buy a Honda Odyssey. The Honda S2000 handles superbly. The steering response is instantaneous, the suspension is stiff, and the bucket seats keep you from sliding around in corners. At one time, the Honda Roadster had no equal in its class. This can be confirmed by Jeremy Clarkson, the former host of Top Gear. In one of the episodes, they compared the Porsche, BMW, and S2000. Clarkson found the latter much more to his liking. The car has many advantages: suspension, transmission, body. But the jewel of this shark is its heart. In the case of Honda, it's the F20C engine with a displacement of 9 cubic centimeters and a power output of 240 horsepower. Traditionally, the engine is equipped with a VTEC variable valve timing system. The unit revs up to 9,000 revolutions per minute. When you need to shift gears in a regular car, the S2000 is just getting started. The engine's endurance at 9,000 revolutions per minute is ensured by forged steel parts, like in the Honda NSX. Due to the specific power output of 125 horsepower per liter of displacement, the engine made it into the Guinness Book of Records. No manufacturer had achieved such power from a naturally aspirated 2.0-liter engine for decades. 10 years later, the record was broken by the Ferrari 458 engine. The Honda S2000 was produced until 2009. To mark the end of production, Honda released a farewell version of the convertible. The car was painted white, had a hardtop alloy wheels, and a red leather interior. A front-wheel drive hybrid that became one of the first cars in its segment. The car's fuel consumption is reduced, making it an economical means of transportation both in the city and on country roads. The engine runs not only on gasoline, but also on electricity. Production of the Honda Insight began in 1999. During its production, the automaker several times changed the concept, improving the technical characteristics. The main motive in creating the model was to minimize the cost of each trip by using a modern engine. The manufacturer has 3 generations of the Honda Insight. Each has its own pros and cons, which led to its rise in popularity or criticism from car enthusiasts. In the late 2000s, there was a rare increase in fuel prices. To reduce car owners' expenses, leading automakers considered mass-producing electric models. Eco-friendly and cheap fuel was supposed to replace gasoline, reducing car owners' expenses. Toyota and Honda entered the market, developing new technologies. The automakers competed with each other. Toyota was the first company to release a hybrid in Japan, but Honda took the lead in another direction. The automotive industry entered the North American market 6 months earlier than its competitors. The first generation Honda Insight was produced from 1999 to 2006. It was a 3-door manual that couldn't become a family car due to having only 2 seats. The engine's advantage was that it could run on a lean fuel mixture. During active driving, the electric motor operated, which also acted as a generator for the batteries when decelerating. To reduce fuel consumption, manufacturers took drastic measures. The overall weight was reduced by using aluminum structures. The design of the rear fenders and the low capacity driver plus one passenger were not accidental. The automotive industry used high-quality materials for the seat upholstery, and their color matched the tone of the dashboard trim, which had an effect on the model's fans. However, due to the small size of the windows, little light entered the cabin, and car enthusiasts complained about poor visibility. The robotic prototype Asimo was developed and first demonstrated to the world in the fall of 2000. While some robots have a more threatening appearance, Asimo has always played the role of a cute robot in the style of the Jetsons, intended, according to Honda, to help people in a society that needs assistance. In this spirit, Asimo can do things like opening and serving drinks. He knows sign language, both Japanese and English. He can avoid collisions with people in corridors. At the New York International Auto Show, Honda demonstrated the latest improvement of the robot. Once relatively stiff and, well, robotic, Asimo is now much more agile, capable of running, climbing stairs, and kicking soccer balls with more human-like dexterity. The Japanese robot Asimo resembles astronauts in white spacesuits. The dark glass hiding its face creates the impression of a space traveler's helmet. The humanoid's friendly appearance makes it look like a child or teenager. Asimo's height of 130 centimeters was chosen deliberately. The developers found a golden mean, making it a convenient assistant and companion for humans. When Asimo stands next to a seated person, its eyes are at the same level as the person's eyes. Asimo's body is made of magnesium alloy and protected by plastic, making the model both light and strong. During operation, the robot's microchips and electronic boards heat up, creating a sensation of human warmth. Cameras are installed in the eye area, helping the robot see a three-dimensional image of surrounding objects and people. A full charge lasts for 40 minutes of intensive work. The processor controlling the movements is packed in a backpack on the robot's back. There are also lithium-ion batteries, which take 3 hours to fully charge. The android navigates the space, distinguishing objects and obstacles. It will avoid a person and can carry small items up to 300 grams in one hand and up to 1 kilogram in both hands. Scientists highlight the robot's intelligence as its main advantage. Asimo perceives the surrounding world through built-in sensors that perform visual, auditory, or tactile functions. The android chooses its behavior by evaluating the events around it and reacting to the actions of others. The robot can be controlled remotely using Wi-Fi or a local network at home or office. Additionally, Asimo can find the necessary information on the internet. Honda Motor engineers created a robot capable of assisting humans. Asimo was designed as a companion for the elderly or people confined to wheelchairs. One of the Asimo prototypes worked as an administrator at Honda Motor's office. It greeted company guests, escorted them to the desired location, offered them a seat, turned lights on and off, and served drinks. Despite Honda announcing the end of further development of Asimo robots, the technologies will be applied in other helper robots by Honda Robotics. Full-size SUV Honda Pilot debuted in 2001, built on the same platform as the Acura MDX, which debuted a year earlier. It was the largest SUV in the brand's history. The car was developed by the American division of the Japanese company. Initially, it was intended only for the overseas market, but it turned out to be so successful that Honda dealers gradually began selling it in other markets as well. The interior is quite conservative. The seating is comfortable and semi-reclining, almost like in a sedan. Cup holders are available in unlimited quantities, as well as various glove compartments and pockets for storing luggage. The rear seat has a special pocket for storing electronic games, markers, albums, and other children's items. The manufacturer positions this car as an 8-seater, but to be fair, it's worth noting that sitting 3 people on the very rear seat is uncomfortable. Notably, the third row can be folded down in just a few seconds, as if it never existed. It hides completely under the floor of the spacious trunk. The main driving force is an impressive 3.5-liter V6 engine with 240 horsepower. The engine, following American tradition, is equipped exclusively with an automatic transmission, in this case a 5-speed one. The gear lever is again located to the right of the steering column. Moreover, the suspension is also tuned to the American style. The large weight, over 2 tons, does not allow this SUV to be graceful in turns. As for other capabilities, the all-wheel drive allows the vehicle to handle bad weather and not very serious ditches and potholes on the road. In terms of passive safety, the pilot's interior is equipped at the highest level. The front airbags can deploy in two ways, lightly or strongly, depending on the severity of the collision. The side airbag for the front passenger is also smart. Special sensors assess the person's posture in the seat, and the automation adjusts the airbag deployment accordingly. The Japanese subcompact hatchback produced by Honda since 2001 is popular worldwide. Over the production period, 3 generations of the model have been released. In the mid-90s, Honda was losing in the subcompact market. Automakers were producing strong cars that outperformed Honda's logo and Kappa models. To surpass competitors, Honda needed to release a superior car in all aspects. The company put everything on the line and released a car built from scratch called the Honda Fit. The model made a supercar-like impact on the car market. During its debut, everyone was talking about it, even those who were not interested in cars. It was an undeniable success. The Honda Fit is built on a new platform. It features the L13A engine, a new generation CVT, and a new chassis. The appearance of the Honda caused a sensation. Everyone liked the car. The Fit looked more expensive than it actually was. A wide range of colors made the car even more attractive. Consumers could choose from 10 different colors. The interior of the Honda Fit impressed many. It was much larger than it seemed from the outside. Both front and rear passengers felt comfortable, and the trunk could hold a lot. With the rear seats folded down, you could transport a bicycle or a surfboard. The driver's seat in this class is a benchmark for Honda. The seats with side support can be adjusted to fit any person. The dashboard looks modern and rich, and the switches and buttons are convenient to use. The chassis of the Honda Fit is both sophisticated and reliable. The model handles well. It has a McPherson strut in the front and a beam in the rear. The first generation was produced from 2001 to 2007. Throughout its life cycle, the car was popular. Many subsequent Honda cars were based on the Fit. After a successful launch in Japan, the model conquered Europe and America under the name Honda Jazz. At the beginning of the 21st century, Japan launched active efforts aimed at restoring the competencies lost after World War II and creating its own aviation technology. The Mitsubishi Aircraft Corporation began developing a regional airliner, now known as the Mitsubishi Regional Jet MRJ. Meanwhile, the world-renowned automobile company Honda introduced its first aircraft, the Honda Jet, in 2003. Notably, unlike the MRJ, the Honda Jet was developed and created almost exclusively by Honda, including the engines, using its own funds without government support. Honda began exploring the business jet market back in the 1980s, using components and engines from other aircraft and in collaboration with American manufacturers and institutions. However, despite a large volume of advanced developments, the company was limited to prototypes. Honda's chief aviation designer, Michimasa Fujino, created the first sketches of the Honda Jet back in 1997. The final design was agreed upon in 1999. The first prototype took off in Greensboro, North Carolina, USA in 2003. Preparation for mass production began a year later, and in 2005, the aircraft was officially announced at the AirVenture Air Show. The Honda Jet is a twin-engine low-wing aircraft with a low-sweep wing equipped with 2 GE Honda HF 120 turbofan engines developed by Honda in collaboration with General Electric specifically for this aircraft. Like other automakers, Honda is preparing to transition to the production of electric vehicles in the USA. To this end, an alliance has been formed with General Motors. Battery-powered Hondas for the local market will be built on an American platform, with the first model being the Prology crossover. However, Honda has designated China as the forefront of its electrification efforts in the rest of the world. Therefore, future models have been announced here. The near-term prospects are represented by the Honda E NS1 and E NP1 concepts. These are electric versions of the global Honda HR-V model of the new generation, and they are almost ready for production. The cars, measuring 4,390 mm in length, are based on the new Architect F electric platform, unified with gasoline cars. The 182 horsepower electric motor is mounted on the front axle with struts at the rear. The estimated range on a single charge is about 500 kilometers. These same units will be used for other relatively affordable electric models. And the crossover brothers will be the first to use the new Honda Sensing 360 Electronic Assistant Suite, which includes radars and cameras. This system will also appear on other models of the company worldwide. The production electric crossovers have already been presented and entered the Chinese market in the spring of 2022. With a long-term perspective in mind, Honda is developing a completely original family of electric vehicles, heralded by a trio of concept cars: the Honda SUV crossover, the Honda NGT sedan, and a two-door Honda with a unified design and unusual proportions. Global plans: 10 new electric models will be released over the next 5 years. Battery-powered cars should account for 40% of sales. By 2035, this figure will reach 80%, and by 2040, Honda will fully transition to electric vehicles. Honda is a billion-dollar company represented worldwide in the fields of industrial, automotive, motorcycle, land, air, and water transport. It stands out in its sectors for its efforts in researching and developing increasingly efficient and environmentally friendly engines. Currently, the company's strategy is focused on sustainable mobility and customer orientation. Well, that's all. Subscribe to the channel, leave comments, and like. We worked very hard, thank you.